Look at my little dude. My little dude. I bought a whole pack of these googly eyes to put over my house. I did actually a thing in college where I went to in the dorm. I put googly eyes on all the little posters around and everything. It was fun. I put like my favorite one is I put big googly eyes. I'll put a picture. Big googly eyes on the TV. And some guy posted as I showed a picture. It's like, I don't feel comfortable watching this anymore. It's so dumb. I will give you guys a little sneak peek of what is to come. This is a video I'm wanting to make here soon. But again, this is a little sneak peek of some... I'll just do this. And for those who know, you know. But for those who don't know, wait and you'll see. This is phenomenal. This is hand drawn. I don't know who you know. I don't know if you know who this is, but here's a little sneak peek. I'm very excited. Very excited to get this in. This is just this is just half of, or even like a quarter of why I'm excited about this. But this was just a little gift, a little add-on to the purchase that I did. This big acquisition, as you could say, the fancy people say. I acquisitioned this card. But that's to come. That's in the future. But I posted it on Instagram. I love her illustrations. You'll know about that in the future. Alright, let's get into the video. Hey guys, Slade, grade level collectibles, driven by passion, motivated by nostalgia, to sell, trade, and educate people on the world of collectibles. Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I wanted to talk about trends and things I really have thought about being in, what it's like being in a buyer's market and what it's like being in a seller's market, and certain trends that I see in a buyer versus seller market, and what I've kind of dwelled on and sat on, and like, okay, you know, this is the trends that I see, or this is what I'm feeling right now. And what I mean by a buyer's and seller's market, you can go back to May and June, when everyone was super excited was super interested in Japanese cards, and the prices just kept going up and up and up. That was definitely a seller's market, because the sellers were benefiting from that market movement. You can see now the opposite, where now, because this wonderful chart, you can see that the prices are moving down and down and down, the average prices anyway. And now we are in a buyer's market where the buyers have the power, so to say. And in these times of a buyer's market and seller's market, there's certain things, again, that I've seen and that I've contemplated with. I'll give you first going over the seller's market. The seller's market is defined again as the sellers having more of the power when it comes to price negotiations, because the price keeps going up and up and up, and if the seller sells now versus a week from now, the price could be doubled. I have had experience with this back in February. I had a deal with a guy where he bought $4,500 worth of items from me, but he was on a payment plan. And when this was happening, the whole thing was like, on my side, I was a guaranteed sale, pretty much. If he dropped out of the sale or whatever, I would keep the money that he paid, and you know, I would just keep the products as well. And on his side, within that period of time, I gave him like 3 months to pay me back. And in that time, the market, whatever the market moves, it won't affect the price that I quoted him back in February. It played out in the buyer's favor, because looking back at it, February, the prices of certain Japanese, I had sealed, I had Evolution boxes, or I have EV Heroes boxes, the EV Heroes gym box I sold him. I sold a couple bigger items as well, but especially those items, I priced it maybe just a little bit higher than market, because I knew it was going to be 3 months, and in that time could be volatile. But I didn't foresee the huge price increase where the EV Gym box would skyrocket up to almost $2,000, where I priced it around $1,100. And the huge one is the EV Heroes booster box, where I priced it at, I think, $250, something like that, and it rocketed up to like $700, something like that, $600. And in that case, it didn't play out in my favor, but it didn't. My benefit was that I got a consistent consistent paycheck pretty much every single month for a period of time. And then again, the buyer had set in stone that price for that given time. And why I give that story is because when that June came along, I was usually, if I had those products and I was selling them, it would be much more in my benefit. But because I had that contract, so to say, I couldn't do that, and it was kind of reverse. He was kind of shielded by the seller's market, and he had the certain price set in stone. But anyway, during that time, it was a seller's market where they have the buying power, so to say. And in that time, everyone just huge speculation, huge moves. Huge acquisitions. Those are the characteristics of buyers. That's usually what it is. And on the seller side, at the very beginning, you could categorize it in loss of opportunity, where they sold it too early and it rose 3 times in price. Loss of opportunity and loss of increased value for their items. If they sold too early, they sold at the peak, they had a huge gain of value and a huge buying opportunity to put that money into other things. And on the seller side of things, you have, again, you have opportunity as well if you catch it early enough, but you have a higher risk of like, okay, I bought these, EV Heroes EV Hero gym box at $2,000. This could decrease in value. And, you only can see the pressures, the upward price pressure and the downward price pressure looking back, but as it rises and rises, there is an increase in the downward pressure of these prices as they are more inflated. And you saw that when it was the peak at the early June, where prices were so high that it only could kind of go down. The reason why it was only could go down was because there was a lean off of demand, that everyone was like, okay, I don't want to spend this much on this item. And then it created that, and then it was escalated by the Mercari, all of them shutting their doors, and that was a huge decrease in price and a huge downward pressure with that. And that kind of started the beginnings of a buyer's market. And within a buyer's market, what are the characteristics? Buyer's market would be the huge opportunity for buyers to get a price that they are comfortable with, and getting a price significantly less. You can see at GameStop right now and at Best Buy, you can see a bunch of these items selling for crazy amount of discounted prices. Like I saw the other day, some V-Box or something was usually selling for $30, and now it's selling for $7.50, something crazy. But you're definitely seeing it seeing this in a seller's market. But you are working in 3 different markets, like I've talked about before. You have the Japanese market, the vintage market, the modern market, and it does pertain to that, but they all kind of flow together as well. So also on the sellers, the characteristics of sellers in this time, you have a increase of risk with the sellers on selling too late, as well as just holding on to that product. But if you sell early, you're more in the clear, but it's kind of like a race to the bottom, as you see in a lot of different products that come out, and there's overabundance. Classic example, Charizard UPC, where out the gate the pre-orders were crazy, like $200, $300, and then when it came out, everyone was like, oh, there's a lot of these, I need to sell them real fast. So it was race to the bottom, and I think the lowest I've ever seen them sold for were like $75 or something, where MSRP, literally MSRP, buying from Pokemon was like $195, something like that. So they are actively losing money on these Charizard UPCs just to get income in to put into other things, because these are stores, they have overhead, you know, they need to move this product and not just sit on a shelf for years. So being in these markets, these upswings, downswings, they're very cyclical, meaning that they occur every so often. There has to be an increase and there has to be a decrease every so often. There is an uptick, you know, obviously over time, but there is a huge increase in demand, huge decrease in demand every so often throughout every single market throughout history. But anyway, through these, I've noticed multiple different things. So when I find myself in a seller's market, where I'm selling a lot of things online, I'm getting all this capital in, I tend to be risky. I tend to be more risky with my purchases because on my purchases, like, you know, I need to utilize this capital somewhere and I need to utilize it fast or I'm gonna explode. You know, that's what I've noticed in myself, and it's very beneficial for me to do so as well, because, you know, this influx of cash, I don't want it just to go, you know, to bills, or I don't want it to go to somewhere else. I want to be more risky with it, because I feel on top of the world of selling a bunch of different items, and there, you know, income's coming in, whatever. And in a lot of areas, especially if you catch it early on, you can increase even more so your capital through buying different products that you can then sell and getting more money. But I tend to be more risky with myself, with my purchases, when I have an uptick in popularity and uptick in prices in my selling on my online store. And that can be a double-edged sword, because now I'm just throwing money left and right, and I'm not really sitting down and really thinking, like, okay, you know, do I really want to put all this money into singles that maybe get PSA 7s, and then I have to sell it at cost or even a little bit loss, you know, like 5 months later? Do I really want to do that, or do I want to sit, relax, and just think about it? And usually the latter is the best thing to do. So I've noticed as a business, I'm more risky on the upswings, and then on the downswings, I'm a lot more hesitant. Because I've seen an upswing and now we're on a downswing. Okay, you know, I'm tightening down the hatches. I'm putting tape at the, you know, the holes around the ship, and but I'm not focusing forward. I'm not focusing and looking around, being observant on what's going on around me. I may have a leak this big in my boat, and I may just do a quick fix, and I'm fixing everything up. But I'm not seeing there's a huge island or a huge opportunity to my right and to my left. And that's majority because I'm not having, you know, a lot of income coming into the business. I see a ton of opportunities when the market is decreasing, because everyone's being aware, like, oh, my stuff's not selling, some stuff is selling for cheap, you know, what's going on, I'm holding back, I don't want to sell at this amount of money or whatever. And sometimes it's best just to put it in the bathroom, you know, to pull a Rudy and just stick it in the bathroom for years. But also it is important to have, you know, other means of income. You know, if you have a consistent thing, like I have other things that I sell on my eBay store that has been consistent through this buyer's market, where I've been able to, you know, consistently have sales and buy certain things, because I see a lot of opportunities. Just like I said about the, you know, item V-Box or whatever that's usually $40, now it's selling for $7. You have a lot of sellers that need to make their overhead and will take significantly cuts, where they wouldn't do the same if it was a seller's market where everything's going up in price. Everything's going down in price now. So this is the opportunity, just like Rudy have said in his videos, where wealth is made in these downward swings and in these unsure times. The most amount of wealth is made during these times. You can take it from stock markets, 100%. When the 2008 crisis hit and everything was skyrocketing down, if you bought Google, bought Apple, bought any of these blue chip stocks or any other things, you know, years later, you were up like 3 times your money. Wealth is made when everyone, blood in the streets, pretty much. When everyone's scared, everyone's selling things, wealth is made in that time. And you have a lot of time to sit and think. It's not gonna, just like in a different in a buyer and seller market. In a seller's market, the market can skyrocket really fast, but in a seller's market, it usually lingers a lot longer, and you have a lot more of that time, yes, to soak in maybe the fear and everything, but also to assess and sit down and think about, okay, what are opportunities here? And again, a lot of my income, and this is majority in collectibles, this is because not a lot of people buy stuff in these times, because usually in this hobby, people have hobby money. People have money that they sell items, and that money that they sell with, they use it to buy other items. And when they aren't selling things, they aren't buying things. So that's why you have that opportunity, and why it's important to have another source of income, so that when opportunities arise with, okay, I could buy, I don't know, 50 Charizard UBCs at $80 each, will it increase in value? Yes, 100% it will. But are you willing to sit on that for a longer period of time that maybe you don't want to? And that's when your decisions really matter, and where the wealth is made. And the decisions that wealth is made is not made in a seller's market. It's made in a buyer's market, where other people are running for cover and to maybe forget about the investments that they poured their money into. Others are assessing the situation and taking opportunity where there is opportunity. And that's a challenge on myself as well. Sometimes, I'm very frugal when it comes to a lot of things. Not so much cardboard, but I'm frugal in a lot of different areas, because I can save money to spend money on cardboard. And when I am faced with these opportunities, it's a very hard decision, because you have only a certain amount of money in life, obviously, but a certain amount of money coming in, and do I really want to spend this much percentage of my paycheck on these cards, or do I want to be more safe with it and set to the side on if certain things in the future will be rocky? And right now we're kind of seeing a double whammy, a whammy from the economy as a whole, as well as the buyer's market in Pokemon. But again, that is what I've noticed on buyer's market and seller's markets, of what, in my head, what happens, and things I have to be aware of. Do I want to be more risky, less risky? Do I want to seek and take opportunity when there's opportunity to be made? And do I want to sell when there are profits to be made? Pretty much. Because in this hobby, you can be, in life, you can be very greedy in a lot of different things, and you can trip over yourself because you are too greedy. You're like, oh, this card should be $3,000, this card should be $4,000, and then, a week later, it's $1,000. And you could have gotten the opportunity to sell it at double what it sold for, the week next. But you were too greedy, and you didn't take profits when there were profits to be taken. So very, very interesting conversation I wanted to bring up, and just have you guys to think, because I don't want to do the thinking for you guys. I do a lot of thinking, but I'll have you know, I am a thoughtful guy. I think about a lot of things. If you get that quote, comment below. Throwback. So again, that's going to wrap up the video. Hopefully I made you, I put a thought in your head, and for you to think of okay, what can I do right now to, take opportunity when there's opportunity to take. So anyway, comment down below if you guys have any questions. I know a couple of you guys have reached out to me on Instagram, asked me some questions, my thoughts, my feelings about certain things. I am open if you guys want to contact me, and if you guys have more of in detail questions. I do, like I said, controversial. I do consulting, just paying for my time to talk it out and everything, because I don't think it's very, I don't think it's very responsible for me to, whatever your decision that you're making, and okay, should I buy this card or buy this card? There's a lot more factors that go into, okay, what is your goals? What are you wanting to get out of this in 3 to 5 years? What's your financial situation? What's this? What's that? I come from a background of finance, and that all ties in to everything. And that's why, acquiring such high-end items is a big risk and a big decision to make in your life. So if you you want to consult with me or whatever, you know, reach out, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, and we'll set something up. But anyway, with that, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. See you guys.